There we are. And all right. How is everyone doing? Welcome. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is our Monday afternoon live. I'm glad that you are here. We always get together on Monday afternoons at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and we draw usually a landscape. Sometimes it's a seascape, sometimes an interior, but today we are looking at this bridge, and we are drawing a landscape. If you are interested in, let me back that up a little bit. We have a very active Facebook group, so if you are looking for a community and want to get to know other artists and learn how to draw, I would recommend that you join our Facebook community. The link is down in the description. And the one thing we do that's a lot of fun is on Monday mornings, I will post 3 different pictures, and then our group votes on which picture they want to draw. So this is the one that came up as a winner today, so that's what we're going to do. And then secondly, we also have another live draw on Wednesday afternoons at 2 p.m. And that is also voted on by the group, and that is a portrait class. So I'm glad that you're with us. We are live right now, so if you have any questions, please just put them in the chat. I'll be watching that, and we can address them. So let's get right into it. So in today's video, what I'm going to do is not only will we draw this bridge, but I'm going to show you four tools that I use for perspective. And I think that if you could get your head around these 4 ideas, it will probably cover all of your perspective needs. I mean, these are tools that I keep going back to over and over again. So let's go over those first, and then we'll jump into this picture. Okay? All right. So first one I want to show you is this concept right here. Okay, let's just say what's going on here. Let's get a nice, make sure we are drawing here. Hold on. All right. Oh, that is strange. Wonder why that is doing that. Oh, maybe because the opacity was down. All right, there we go. Now we're going. So let's see. Before we get going, let's see. Teresa says, Alexa says 2 o'clock. Yes, it is. We are starting at 2 o'clock. So here we are. So first trick I want you to realize, and I do these, like I said, finding the center of a square or finding the center of a rectangle. Here, we'll put one up here just like this. Okay. All you simply do is make an X. And so this will be the center of that square. And the same thing works with a rectangle. So with this, we can then draw a line, and we know exactly that this is the center of a cube, of a rectangle or a square. So how does this help us in perspective? Well, let me just move that over there. And let's just say, we'll call this A and this is B. Let's just say A was in perspective. Well, it might look something like this. You see? That's A in perspective. And if A, when it's in perspective, the same thing works. If I just have to connect the 2 corners, and that is the center of that square in perspective. So that's the first thing I want you to remember is to find the center of any square or rectangle. All you have to do is put a cross section. Okay. All right. Let me bring up another one now. Here's another thing I want you to remember. This will be number 2. Let's say I have a line. Okay, let's say let's say this is the ground right there, okay? That's the ground. And this right here, we'll call this A. This is a post. All right, that's a post that I've put into the ground. Let's say over here you're gonna add another post. So you can just put this post in wherever you want. This is gonna be post B. All right. Now, in order to place post C, you do this little trick. You look to the top. You look to the top of B and the bottom, and you find the center point. All right, and you don't need a ruler. You could just kind of look at something and easily determine where the center is. And then from the top of A, okay, you go right through that center point, and right here, this gives you the location of C. And then if you want to put the post D in place, again, you take C and you find the center. And you go to the top of B and you go right through that. And right there is the center. This is going to be D. It looks like my lines weren't, these should be exactly equal. This should be equal, but I don't know, why was I off on that one there? Well, trust me, that they should all be perfectly equal. It looks like it wasn't exactly square, but you get the idea. So how does this idea work in perspective? Well, let me show you this over here. Let's just say you have let's just say that's your horizon line in the background there, okay? And these are your perspective lines going back. And let's say you draw, here's your post. There's your post you just dug in. We'll call this, that's post number A, okay? And then let's put in post B. This is post B, all right? And you could put that wherever you want. There's no place. Just set that in. Okay, so we use the same idea here. So this is the top of A, right? We go to the middle. We go to the middle of B, and we come straight down like this. And right there, that's where we put C. Okay, now let's go ahead and put in post D. So we go to the top, we find the center of C, go to the top of B, and then that is going to be post D. And as you see, you could keep going down the line here, and what is happening, but these posts are slowly getting closer and closer together in perspective, and that's what happens with perspective. So remember this is number 2. This is the second thing I want you to remember, is the way how to put equal lengths back in perspective. So remember this trick: top through the middle and then where it lines up on the bottom. All right, that's number 2. And if I go too fast at one point, just tell me, I'll slow down, all right? Okay, number 3. Number 3. Let's say that, let's say this is the corner of a house, all right? And we're just these are going back to some vanishing point, and we're this is a wall that's in perspective, okay? This is number 3. And this is using a perspective grid, okay? So we'll call this A, and this will be B down here. Let's go to the halfway point on A. And we'll go to the halfway point with B. And then we can connect those two. Oh, hey Sharon, how are you doing? Okay, to continue this grid, we go between A, we make another halfway point right there, and we go a halfway point here, and we connect those two. And then we do the same down here. I am glad you're doing good on this Monday. So what's happening is we're creating a grid on this wall so that, let's just say now we wanted to go in and add a window. All we have to do is kind of look at this grid and we can estimate how the angles of that window should be by looking at how they kind of look correct within that grid that we've created. So number 3 is to create a perspective grid. And if, let's just say we wanted to create a door here, we might do something like this. Okay. So using a perspective grid is number 3. And number four is learning how to draw wheels. Wheels are very important in an oval in perspective. So we go over this. Let me show you really quick. Let's just say you had a regular circle, right? And then you could divide that circle right down the center on both sides. But if you have an oval, this divided right in half, this is what we call the minor, this is number 4. This is what we call the minor axis. Minor axis. Is it AEX? Nope, that's not right. AEAXIS? Oh, that's it. This is the minor axis, okay? So whenever you are drawing a circle, okay, or an oval, you always want to find the minor axis, and you want to make sure that the oval is perfectly reflective across that minor axis, all right? And here's the trick. The minor axis is always the same as the axle of any type of vehicle or cart or something like that. Let me show you that. All right, so I'm going to make these things just a little bit smaller so I can show you how that actually works. So let's start with this corner right there. Fan that back like this. Okay, this is going to come back as well. And then this one's going to come up. Look at that. Those are also fanning back. You see that? They're fanning out. They're going to in some distance, a vanishing point that we don't know where that's at, but we don't need to know where that's at. Okay. Up here at A, this also goes back. So all 3 of these are going to go back to the same vanishing point. Back here, let's say this is B. At this is going back as well, and this is going. This is going, and all 3 of these are going to the same vanishing point. So we end up with a nice cube here, okay, in perspective. Let's call this point, this little corner C, and we're going to draw this lightly. So this, it's like we're looking through an invisible box, okay? This is going also back to this vanishing point back here, all right? And we'll call this one over here. This will be D, and this D is also going back to the opposite way, all right? So he's going back here. So invisible, you see this? That's like the interior corner of that box. So let's just say that this box had an axle on it. All right, it was balancing on an axle. So this would be the axle right down the center, and believe it or not, this is also going back to that vanishing point. But extend it beyond just a bit here. And let's draw a wheel. Let's draw a wheel on this, okay? So remember what we did right here. I'm going to change my color so you can see this. All right, so here I go. I'm going to make sure that this is reflective. That A is reflective of B. And that right there is our good looking wheel for that cart. Okay, so this is number 4. These are the 4 tools that I would highly recommend that you memorize, because if you remember these 4 things, let's look at them really quickly review. Number 1, finding the center of a square by crossing the corners, okay? Number 2, finding the distance of a post by going through the center, and if you are late or just getting this, you can quickly watch the recording when we're done. Number 3, using a perspective grid. And finally, number 4, knowing how to draw wheels. If you could do these 4 things, you have pretty much, I really believe you've mastered perspective. I know it's not that, you're like, it can't be this easy, but I think you have. And I would love to see a scenario where these things wouldn't work. All right, you're making notes, Linda. Excellent. Okay. The best thing too is, Linda, if you forget, you know how to get a hold of me. Just reach out on Facebook. But we can. Those are the 4 concepts, 4 ideas I want you to remember regarding perspective. All right, let's see how we're going to use them in today's drawing. Oh, excuse me, really quick. All right, let's see how we're going to use them in today's drawing. So let's take a look at this, and let's kind of map this out. Let me show you what we're going to do. So if I take this bridge and twist it so we look straight at it, what we're going to do is basically draw. What we're going to do is draw two towers. Okay. There's going to be a bridge going down the center. And then on the inside, these are going to have like an arch. We're going to arch and an arch. And then the outside part like this. And there's going to be an arch here. Well, there's no arch on that side, but there is an arch over here. Okay? So that's essentially what we're going to do. All right? Okay. Let's get into this here. All right, let's go ahead and start with drawing a square a rectangle. This is going to help frame our picture up. All right, let's go ahead and start. We're gonna put a mark right on the edge of this frame right there. So whereabouts is this? If I kind of look at that, that's almost halfway. So I'm just gonna put a mark right there halfway. And then if I go to the other side of this picture, I could see that I'm going to put a little dot right there. You see that? Maybe I should change that to be red so you could get an idea. It's right about there, you see? And let's see. Now that is about, maybe, look at this distance. It's from here. I mean, it's just below 2/3. It's just below a third, I think. So I'm going to put my dot right there. Now let's go ahead and just connect those very lightly. And as I'm looking at this, that almost looks too steep. So I'm going to move mine up just a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. What we're trying to do is match that angle right there, okay? And then we're going to match this angle here. So let's go ahead and jump over to our page, and look, that's going to start right there. And we're going to come all the way up there. So let's very lightly keep it light. Okay, ready? Look at this line right there. You see this line? Let's put that one in, all right? And this is going to be just keep it light. We're going to come in maybe about, come in here, maybe about right about there. And then the next line I want you to put in is just like this, just like that. Keep it skinny. Don't go overboard here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get the next marker in. It's going to be, this is the one we're looking for right here. So let's guesstimate that. Okay. It's going to be right about here. It's almost the middle of the page. You see that? Okay, so let's do this now. This is where our first arc is going to go, right? So let's do this. Now the arc, if you're going to draw an arc in a page, an arch, I keep saying arc. I'm going to just put this note here. We're gonna get an X here because where it's going to peak, this is where the peak of our arch is going to be. You see that? So let's go ahead and make an X right here. And then we're going to come up maybe right about there. And remember that I don't care about exact precision of copying what we're drawing. I'm more interested in getting the concept down, okay? So I'm going to put a little dot right here. And this is where I'm going to start all of my arches from. So at this point here, I want to bring that dot back to the vanishing point. I want to make a guide. And then this little dot right here, right above it, this is going to be where the peak of all those arches are going to be. All right, so let's go ahead and draw an arch there. It's going to come up and it's going to come down. Okay, let's get our second batch in. Now watch this. Now this is tricky here, okay? We have this section and this section. We're going to repeat these two things. So I'm going to just label this A. I'm going to find the half. This is going to be the halfway point right there. This is going to be B. This is about the halfway point right there. I'm going to go from the top of A right through B. And then this next little section here, this is where my next arch is going to go. So let's go ahead and add a pillar. This is going to be my pillar right there. See, this is the pillar. That's one pillar. This will be the next pillar. And then right in here, this will be my next arch. So let's go ahead and make an X. Hopefully, I'm not losing anyone. All right. From the center here, this goes to the top. This right there is going to be the peak. It's going to be the peak of the next arch. So what we do is we'll come up and then we'll come down. So all we're really doing on a side view, all we're doing is we are drawing the arch and the pillar. We're kind of thinking of these things as a unit, okay? All right, let's do it again. So now this is going to become, that's going to become C, the letter C there. So let's find the halfway point between the top and the bottom, and it's going to be roughly, oh, it happens to be right about there. I'll put a little, maybe a little bit lower. There's a little arrow for you. We go to the top of B and go straight through that. Wow, look at this. Okay. And now we go straight up. And that's going to be our next unit of area. Linda, you like it. You're fascinating. Yes, it is. It's really fun. I enjoy it. All right, let's now we're going to guess the width of this next pillar here. So it's going to be a little bit narrower. You know, now I could go through all the mechanics and get these exact widths, but it's only a sketch, so we can guesstimate this. Plus, the idea is that when you're out and about, I don't want you to use a ruler. I want you to kind of get used to just guesstimating these things, but use these tools and you can be pretty accurate. All right. Okay, remember, this is that's the top of our arch. Let's make an X here, right? There's an X on this side. There's our X. There's the top of the arch there. This is where it starts, so we're going to come up and down. And then this will bring us to our next tower. And we'll just guesstimate the width of that tower, okay? Okay, I'm gonna erase this up here because we're gonna kind of get up there now, and let's determine the top of these towers here because we could start to expand this. And if I'm going too fast, someone needs to shout out, ask me to slow down. So we're gonna start on this guy here, and let's just kind of go up. And we're gonna say like the top, and this is a guess. This is just, I'm just kind of putting the top where I think it will go. Now this is how we could use our, what about the arch to the right of the picture? We're gonna, oh, I see, yes, good call, thank you for that. All right, let's reverse this, okay? Let's reverse this. So we're gonna start at the top. Here's the center, here's A. There's the center part of A, and we're gonna reverse it. So now we're gonna come, because we don't know where the end is over here. You see, it's out of the picture. So let's go from B, and we're going to come through A. Watch now. Here I go. And it's off the page. Look at that. So we can go up here. Good call, Sharon. So now we can extend this a little bit here. And we could extend that up there a little bit. And we're gonna guesstimate. We're just gonna guesstimate the width of this pillar that we can't see. It's off the page. So I think I'm gonna come down about like that. I'm going to make my X. I'm going to make my X. That's the center of that. That's the top of the arch. And there you go. All right, good. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so let's continue. Let's get these big towers in now. So here's this. We're going to use this idea of a perspective grid. So look over here. So here's this distance. Let's just copy that. We're going to match that right there, right? And let's do that again. Let's do another equal length. These are all equal lengths. We've just kind of gone up exactly 3, right? Let's jump to the other side of our page, and here, this is right here. I'm going to change the color so you could see that on this side over here. Here's the top, and there's the bottom. So let's match that distance, right? So it's going to be right about there. And look at this. Here, if we're going to connect these two right there. And that's going to extend our perspective grid. Now, if I wanted to connect this top one right there, we'll call this, I'm going to just put the letter A. So you look at it. I'd have to go way off my page to get another segment. But this is plenty. This is all I need in order to continue my drawing here. So let's say I'm going to come up here now. So this is going to be roughly the top of this tower here. So let's just extend that up. All right. And I'm just kind of guesstimating. This has got to fan out to that vanishing point over here. All right, now this will be my other tower over here. So I can extend him up. Okay, so there's the towers. So let's darken in some of our lines here so we know what's going on, all right? So, and this isn't going to look exactly like the picture, but like I said, it's going to give you the concept. So we're going to come in here. This is the top of our bridge. All right, so that's just the one facade. Let's go ahead and turn the corner and get it to go to the other vanishing point. So I'm gonna start right here. I'll erase this up here. I'm gonna start right here with this top corner here. And I'm just gonna kind of guesstimate here. So this is gonna come down a little bit because this is going to slowly head back to that vanishing point. You see? And then down here on this corner, this corner right here, this is also going to head back to that vanishing point. And you can see I'm just guessing. It's just a guess, but I know that they're going to converge somewhere in the distance. So then if I start to move across my bridge here, right, this little corner right there, I know that he's gonna kind of head back in that same distance. You see that? And then I could go to the next corner and I could just kind of, these are all gonna head, they're not parallel, they're all heading back to the same vanishing point. And even this guy here, he's heading back as well. Let's get the thickness of our next tower here. We'll call this will be tower number 2, and this is tower number 1. Right here at the corner, okay. So this has to kind of go back to that vanishing point. Okay, and we could guesstimate about the thickness here. So I'm gonna make this tower that thick right there. Okay, maybe a little more thicker than that. I'm gonna erase this letter C there. All right, so there's my tower there. So I've just kind of established the thickness of my tower. I'm going to look at that corner right there. So this corner is going to go back to this vanishing point over here, and I can extend it. Boom, and there, right there, that is the thickness of the other tower, and it's coming off the page ever so slightly. So as you can see right away, my drawing is quite a bit different than the picture, but we're kind of like we're using this as a springboard. In this example, I'm not trying to. I'm more concerned with having you understand the concept of how you can quickly lock everything up, all right, using perspective. In these 4 ideas of perspective, okay? All right, so now we could just kind of guesstimate. There's the opening arch on that one tower, and here's the other one here, right? Okay, so let's jump down here to the bottom. Let's jump right down here at the bottom. I'll erase this so you can see where I'm at now. I'm down here. I'm going to come across, and this is the underside. You see that? This is the underside of the bridge there. Hopefully. And then right here, right there, that's where that arch has started. So if I take this back to the vanishing point right there, that's where my arch should start on the other side. Let's do that to the other one there. So we've got this coming through like that, right? So this guy is going to come across, all right? So the angle is that we can't really see the opening anymore. That's kind of helpful to us. And I'm just going to bring that across like that, all right? let's go ahead and add some tone underside here, and this will help cover some of our lines. So I'm just gonna come in here like this, and this one too, and then this one too. And then this one too. Okay, this is going to be my water there. I'm going to go ahead and erase some of these arrows down here. And I'm going to erase this over here off the page so we don't get this confused. I'm just going to kind of erase some of these lines here. And if you just don't think about trying to draw a perfect finished drawing here, just use this, and then you come back and try it again. But now that you understand how this works, so let's get a little thickness underneath that bridge, and we can add a little tone there if you want as well. And the same thing over here. And I just guessed. I just guessing that right now. Okay. And let's get this waterfall in here. In our closing, we have about 7 more minutes. So I'm just gonna curve it around just a little bit like this. It's straight almost in the picture, but I'm gonna curve mine around. I'm gonna make another curve like this. And then I'm going to just add some surface lines. To simulate that this is going over these little falls here. This is a bush back here, so I'm gonna put like a, let me erase this. Okay. Back here, I'm just gonna make it like a containment line. All right, so that's about where my bush is gonna go. And when I work on this bush, let me show you. I'm thinking of a sphere, right? And if the sphere was shadowed, it would be something like this maybe, right? So this ends up having dimension. So I want to treat the bush the same exact way. Don't do that. So I want to add a tone to the whole entire bush here, and then just down here, see? And then I want to add a tone on the water, just an overall tone. And to make this look like water, I want to get some type of reflection here. So I'm just going to just kind of lightly put some straight lines going straight down. Look at that. Just by doing that, you'll get a sense of reflection in the water. There's a couple more things I want to do here. On the inside, I want to have some distinction. So I'm going to add another value on the inside of these bridges here. Now, again, it's not exactly like the picture, but I just want it to read as a drawing more than trying to copy the picture. And then I could go down here in the reflection and add some tone as well. And this will help read the reflection better. In that water. That bush is also going to have some reflection. Yeah, that's good, Donna. It's this is a process of learning. So it's a new idea, and like every new idea, there's a part where you have to get it. You have to look at it once, and then you have to come back and revisit it. And every time you revisit it, it starts to sink in. So that was a lot that I showed you. We actually used 3 of those concepts that I showed you at the very beginning. Okay, I'm gonna erase this here, because the last thing I want to do here to sort of make my picture a little complete is I'm gonna just kind of add these mountains in the background here. Okay, and these will have a light tone to them. They're going to have a light tone in the background there. And if you wanted to, you could put a cap on these things just by coming up here, making like a little triangle. And then this is going to go back in the go back toward that vanishing point. Same thing. Let's put a little triangle here, and this will go back as well, and we match that as a parallel. Now, the very last thing I want you to do is don't forget these leaves, because these leaves give us some foreground, and I think it really adds to the idea that we're looking back in the distance. So you might just start off, a great way is just to start off with maybe a branch or two. And then go slowly, and you could just simply look at the silhouette of these things. I'm looking at the negative space here. Now I'm just going to come in here and color these things in. if the most important thing you can get out of this lesson is if you go to the beginning and watch those first four tools that I show you, and if you just get those things down in your head, man, that would be remarkable. So in the shadowed area here, now I'm just going to make more leaf shape. Just a couple more twigs coming down here. And there we go. I'm just kind of doing some little touches on mine. So, for example, I want to put windows in the center of this block, so I'm going to make an X. All right, so there's the center. So I don't have to say too much. I just have to make a little indication there. Wow, that one's awful. And then the same thing down back over here. And that's it. There you go. So there's a good overview of 4 different tools that will really help you get your perspective down. In fact, if you master those 4 things, I really think that you'll be able to draw pretty much 90% of your stuff when it comes to drawing things in perspective. The only thing we didn't cover on that is stairs. And it's the angle that is a little bit different. So maybe we could approach that next week or something like that. Thank you everyone for watching. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. If you have questions, jump over to our Facebook group and go ahead and post them in there, or put them as a comment down below, and I will take a look at that and do my best to answer them. All right? Thanks everyone. Have a great Monday. And I will see you guys later. All right, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. You got it. Go out there, make your day great. Bye-bye.